strange. That is, it should blow up some assumptions that you've always had but never examined. It should put you in touch with some capabilities that you didn't know you had.
I think that education is a tool for liberation.
Education is fundamental for human development. We learn in many ways.
They need an education so they can get like a good job in life. Like some classes, like they very interesting.
Education is a crucial tool to have, whether that's formal academic, going to a school, or just after school programs or other kind of more informal educational settings.
There's formal educational settings, and I happen to believe that we learn in those and everywhere else in our lives.
It should make you sort of think about important questions and where those questions should be applied.
Like, it's really a building block of most people's lives, and particularly if there's a lot of things in your society that you want to change or that you want to do, you can't do it without education.
Essentially, education is a process by which people become more able to engage and participate in the world.
And then just in general, I think even with general formal spaces of education, there's a critique of, are we actually teaching students to be productive and critical members of society? And a lot of the answers are no, and so again, you have informal spaces kind of picking up that slack.
The youth development framework prepares young people not just to be great media makers through our programming, but great participants in the journey of life.
Education in and of itself, I think, is an act of justice. It's the single best anti-poverty program, anti-violence program, development strategy in the world. So I think it's a terrific way for class and socioeconomic and racial structures to be broken down. Education should allow you to do that.
It's not just about media, it's about life. It's about what comes next.
From the bigger onset, if you look at under-resourced communities, Black and Latino communities specifically, public education is not equal to private schools. It's not equal to the richest students in any city.
Jefferson thought that the key to a great democracy was educated people. And this is a really educated dude who helped start a revolution.
Some courses in science or math or language, there are more or less right and wrong answers. In media, there's not exactly one right answer. It's a puzzle.
I think creative media helped me get like a point across. Just if I don't know how to say it, I could show it through media.
If I just like make a video on how to do a certain like exercise, I could make it, add it up, and I could show the class. There you go.
I believe that media is incredibly powerful.
If you're going to teach media, you have to teach that it's powerful. You can't kind of ignore the fact of how it may or may not affect people.
Some of them get turned off by it because they're so used to seeing images where a lot of things are being degraded.
The only media I have a real problem with is media that is somehow perpetuating misinformation.
I'm not sure where the new generation is going with, if they are finding more digital ways of interacting with people.
I use media for everything, like social media. I use like Instagram, Facebook to get in touch with people, post my videos.
There's whole conversations where even though it looks like they're doing something solitary, that they are putting it out and getting feedback on it.
Students get all that stuff and then ask the appropriate trigger questions.
It's like any cycle of education, of like being introduced to something, becoming aware of it, and then contributing to it, and how that affects how you contribute to it.
It's important to offer robust, high-quality opportunity. Youth media is this wonderful kind of framework in which to engage young people in learning.
I like editing videos and recording and doing a lot of stuff. Real deep into media, I'm like, man, did you see that video I uploaded last night? And then we'll be talking about that. We might sneak over and go watch the video on the phone or something.
The act of creating media is so participatory and so requiring of multiple skills.
Are we getting everything we need to get out of public education, formal spaces? And the answer is usually no, because they have a slightly different agenda to kind of cover all the basics to create a well-rounded student. And so you have all these informal spaces kind of picking up the slack.
The learning in media is often learning how to solve that puzzle for oneself or one's team. If there's a puzzle master playing the game, that really undermines the learning and the sense of agency.
When I'm outside of school, when school is over, I come straight to the digital media room, because that's like the laboratory, that's like the church altar, because I'm always right here. It's fun. I like moving cameras around. It's fun to me.
Well, when it comes to media creation, that can be a very empowering experience to make something from scratch. If the source of the education is trying to craft their message in such a way that is based on stereotypes or impressions that are not well-founded, that can be very problematic.
So what I think is, it's like, how do we connect their interest with what they want to do, but at the same time informing them with the mission of the class and what the teachers want. If there are organizations that can do that, that would be great, to inform them about these negative messages.
One of the basic switches that educators and policymakers and leaders have to make is the switch from understanding students and their role with students as preventing pathologies. You know, it's the anti-program, like anti-drug, anti-pregnancy, anti-gang, anti-unemployment, anti-employment.
I think it can be problematic when resources are poured in a kind of unbalanced or unchecked manner into an environment that is considered under-resourced.
It'll affect the way you marshal your resources when you shift from the pathology lens to the potential lens.
But I think particularly looking at a media organization, if you're working specifically with Black culture, it's very interesting, because media has this weird, particularly American media, has this weird obsession with co-opting and taking Black culture specifically.
Which they want to see certain topics or certain products, basically products of how these urban youth create material.
I think there's stereotypes, but then there's this weird profiting from it without the respect of the people itself. So I think particularly with Black identified young people, it's really crucial to talk about how the media seems to be dominated with Black culture, but it's not a respectful representation, nor are there Black people profiting for the most part from it.
I would say there's stereotypes that comes from them and they perspective of us, how they perceive us.
Organizations, or even not-for-profit organizations on a bigger scale, they too have to appease certain masters, which is funders, and you have to basically do what these funders want. And
I really don't I like doing stuff like on my own, like my own projects. For example, if I'm getting told to do something, a documentary on something that I don't like or I'm not interested in, I'm gonna get it done, but I won't be excited.
If a student is trying to make a project, but the agency that is behind that student making the project has a certain agenda that they're trying to impose, they'll have an experience where they feel taken advantage of or misunderstood or misrepresented.
It's pretty fun with just like your peers. I wouldn't want to have another group just telling me what to do. I kind of get a little irritated about that. Cause like they gonna be all in my ear saying, yeah, put this down. Or say I do something wrong, they might get mad. And then that'll take me off.
Because in informal spaces, students are usually opting in, and they can easily opt out if they don't care.
It's not always about the product, it's also about the process.